What's up, y'all? It's your girl Jay Renee with Prison Riot Radio. I hope that you're doing well. This morning we got a brother by the name of Brian Scott on the phone. He's going to tell us more about our journey and the things that he's been doing to help those that are incarcerated transition back to normal life. Good morning, bro. How you doing?
Good morning. Good to hear your voice. Good to talk to you.
Yes, indeed. It's been a long time coming. I'm glad that you've been able to take some time to chat with us about what you got going on. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's
Thank you.
jump right into it. So tell the people a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
My name is Brian Scott. I grew up in Asheville, North Carolina, and was arrested back in 2001 in the Guilford County area. So I spent 20 years in prison. I was released last February, so about 16, 17 months ago now. And it's just been an exciting new phase in my life. Being able to put prison behind me and stepping forward and giving back now through our journey, it's been quite a thrill.
All right, well, definitely welcome home. I'm glad you're on this side of the wall. 20 years is a lot to stand up on. So
it is.
Tell us, how did you stay motivated during your incarceration?
That's a great question. And, not every day was a great day, of course, in prison. Prison is prison. It's hard. It can be depressing. It can be overwhelming at times. But I generally did have a positive outlook and kept that outlook throughout the 20 years. I think there were a couple of things that were key in staying motivated. First of all, one of the blessings of prison, and so many people can testify to this, is that you are able to discover talents and abilities you never knew you had. A lot of people go to prison, they discover, hey, I can draw, I can write. And for me, it was writing, and just being able to focus on that and find motivation through writing. And then also, I think you always have to, this is true out here, it's certainly true in prison, you have to stay connected to a cause that's bigger than yourself. And that helps keep you motivated. And certainly in prison, at the prison I was at, which was most of the time I did was at Nash Correctional in Nash County, North Carolina. Just so many opportunities there to plug in, to get involved, to be something, just other than just sitting around focusing on yourself and your situation.
Right.
So that was very much a key.
All right. So you said things outside of yourself. So that take us right into our journey, right? So tell us more about our journey and what's its premise and purpose.
Okay. Our journey is a nonprofit. We are 501c3, and we actually officially launched this last February. So it's only been 4 months. It's amazing what we've been able to accomplish. But our journey basically says, all right, we're a bunch of guys. We're a bunch of friends that got out. We knew each other in prison. It's fun to get together. It's fun to see each other, to, meet up at a restaurant, relive some memories and have some laughs. But it's not just about us. We've been able to successfully transition from prison to freedom. Now it's time for us to help those who will come behind us and rejoin us, whether we know them or not. And so that was the premise for our journey. And it's just, like I said, it's exciting to be able to do that. It's exciting to be able to give back. There are so many things that when we got out, we wish we had known. Things that they don't tell you, things that they can't tell you, because when I say they, I mean your case manager, the prison system, things they can't tell you because they've never gone through it. They've never experienced it. Right. And so the uniqueness of our journey is we've been there. We know what we wish we had known, and we want to pass on that knowledge. We want to pass on that information. We want to help bridge the gap that we wish we would have had when we came out of prison.
Right. So would you say that was your motivation, just, knowing the things that you know now, knowing that no one else really knows them but those that know that situation? Was that what motivated y'all to say, hey, we need to do something to help people
Absolutely.
in the same space?
Absolutely. Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. And the thing that I love about our journey is we've got so many cross references of experiences, because everybody's experience coming out of prison is different. I was fortunate that I walked into a pretty good situation with my family everybody was still alive. Everybody was still supportive.
Right.
I didn't have to worry about a place to live, and that sort of thing. But that's not the experience for everybody. And so it's not one person saying, this is how I did it. It's collectively saying, this is how we did it. And in the midst of our group, you'll find somebody in some situation that you can identify with and relate to. So definitely the motivation was, let's make it easier as much as possible.
Right. That's awesome. I definitely appreciate that. I know that those that around that can receive such a service will appreciate it. Speaking of, what area do you service right now?
Right now we have partnered with Nash Correctional, which is exciting for us, not only because of our own history there. Many of us, not all of us, did time at Nash, but because it's going to give us a chance to start with a prison that we know has a progressive outlook,
right,
and wants to contribute to helping reduce the recidivism rate, and really does emphasize that. So we're excited about that. We are starting a program there that we're calling the First Aid Reentry Kit program.
Okay.
We're going to start it at Nash. We've received a lot of support from the North Carolina Department of Public Safety. The regional director of the area that includes Nash has already talked to us about expanding the program to other prisons in that same region, which is what we want to do. And then from there, expand to other prisons throughout the state. As you may know, Nash Correctional is a medium custody facility. And that, when I was there, so I left in 2017. Back then, if you saw 25 people go home from Nash a year, that was a large number. That has changed now. It's more like 15 people a month that go home from Nash. And a lot of that's because of COVID. They don't move people around as much anymore. And so we will be providing these reentry kits to those, on average 15 guys a month that get out of prison from Nash, and then hope to expand that program to minimum custody facilities in that same region, where you're going to have double or even more per month that go home.
Okay. So tell us more about these reentry kits. What is that?
Okay. I'm actually looking at one right here and sitting in front of me. I'm excited about it. I'm in the home of one of our board members, and we've pretty much turned her dining room into an assembly line.
Okay.
So we're in the process of putting some kits together now for guys that will be going home from Nash in July. The kit has 5 main components inside it. The first component is a reentry booklet that we are calling What to Expect, Your First Days Free. And it's written from the perspective of guys who have been there. We actually conducted several Zoom meetings with a cross-reference of guys, some that we knew personally, others that were recommended to us, who had gotten out of prison and were willing to talk with us and talk to us about their experiences, the things that they encountered. And so from that, we pulled together this booklet, and it just gives a general, it's 48 pages, and it gives a general overview of what you can expect your first days. We break it into categories, for example, transportation, housing, reconnecting with family, rebuilding your financial life. And it's 48 pages, so it doesn't go into a lot of depth for each category, because we don't want to overwhelm anybody. But at the same time, we wanted to give some general directions, some advice, some strategies, and just some encouragement. On the last inside page of this booklet, we've got 15 guys who are part of our network who have said, put my name down, my first name down, and my phone number. And so we have this in the booklet for guys when they get out, if they get stuck, if they need some advice, if they just get depressed, they can pick any of these guys they want to and call them, and there'll be people there to support them who have been through what they've been through. So that's the first component, the reentry booklet. The second component is a resource guide. So the resource guide goes a little bit further than the booklet, in that it gives specific information, contact information about businesses, ministries, organizations in the person's hometown, community, county. So, for example, if you're getting out and you're going to Wake County, you're going to have a resource guide in your kit for Wake County.
Nice.
It's going to give you up-to-date information on who you can call to get some transportation, or who you can call to get medication refilled. And some counties offer more services than others,
right.
But we will eventually have a resource guide for all 100 counties in the state, and it will be updated, because I can tell you from personal experience, there's nothing more frustrating than somebody giving you information. Here, you need to check with these people. You need to call them. They'll give you some clothes for your interview, or they'll provide you transportation, and you call them, and either they don't exist anymore, or they don't service anybody in your area. And so it's frustrating. It's discouraging. So this resource guide will be updated and maintained, which is something that just doesn't happen very much. If you go online and you look for resources for reentry help, you'll find stuff, but then you start looking at it and it's just out of date. So that's the second component. The third component, and this one will be if necessary, we're going to include a North Carolina driver's handbook from the DMV for those guys who need to get their license renewed, or who perhaps haven't even gotten a license for the first time. And we know this is available online. When we contacted the DMV about it, that was their first response. Anybody can access it. But we also know from personal experience that there are guys getting out of prison. I did 20 years. The technology landscape had changed completely. Mm-hmm. And so when you're getting out of prison and you don't have a lot of experience with the internet, maybe you're a little bit intimidated by it, here's something that you can hold in your hand, right. Something very necessary, because as anybody knows, one of the biggest keys to restarting your life is getting your driver's license and gaining that independence. So that's a component if necessary. The fourth component is an Our Journey t-shirt that we have developed and just got them in the other day. And so this is a piece of clothing. It's got our logos on the front and the back, but it's a piece of clothing that they won't have to buy. They can actually wear it out if they don't have anything else provided. Most people do. Most people have family members that will drop off some clothes. Right. Some don't. And even if they do have someone doing that, this is still one piece of clothing that they will have that they don't have to buy. Right. The final component is a gift card to a local restaurant, a fast food type restaurant, for $25. We wanted to make it where it was enough for, at least 2 meals that you could get for yourself. And so that's the final component. Now, I will say this, we're anxious to get feedback from guys as they start getting these kits and start putting them to use. And so we're always open to expanding the kit to include other items. Okay. Someone has suggested hygiene and that sort of thing. We don't see ourselves going in that direction because there's already so much of that available. Okay. But anything that we can do to help guys, especially when it comes to information, because we believe that information is powerful. And we know as prisoners, as being incarcerated, you don't have control over even your own information. You just don't. They won't give it to you. And so you don't have access to the internet. You don't have access to these tools. So we want to make this stuff available in printed form and in a form they can hold, right, that will give them information that they can convert into power, because that's what information is. Information is power.
And set them up for success.
Exactly. The first few days, the first few weeks, the first year is so critical. When you look at recidivism rates and how they drop after periods of time, when you get to the recidivism rate right now in North Carolina across the board is 35%. But when you look at the recidivism rate for someone who stays out a year, stays out 3 years, then we see those rates plummet. And so that's what we've identified as very key. Those first few days, those first few weeks, getting guys off on the right foot.
Mm-hmm. All right. I love it. I think it's amazing. And in my mind, when you was talking, I was just watching it expand all over America. So definitely keep up the good work. Awesome. We see your efforts. How can we support your efforts? How can we, the people, support what you got going on and, to make sure it's successful?
Well, there's a few ways. And thank you for asking that, because we do need help. We definitely need support. We've received a lot of support, and but as anybody can tell you that's with a nonprofit, you can never get enough. We are a 501c3 organization, which means all donations to us are tax deductible. So there are basically 4 ways right now to help us. You can go to our website, and we have a link there for you to sponsor a kit. Each kit costs us approximately $50 to produce. So we're asking people to sponsor a kit or multiple kits. Some people have sponsored just one. We've had corporations that have sponsored multiple kits. And so that's one way. We also have a GoFundMe page that we just launched last week. So you can go to GoFundMe, search for Our Journey, and you can support us through that page. We also, on our website, we are offering our T-shirts that I mentioned for sale to the general public for a $25 donation. And you can do that on the website as well. And then finally, we are looking for support at a larger scale. So if there's someone who listens to your podcast and says, we have some funds that we believe in what you're doing, we want to help on a larger scale, then I just encourage them to contact me. I'm sure you're going to provide my email address and our website address. So please, by all means, reach out to us, and we would love to talk to you about that as well. So those are the 4 main ways right now. We will be doing some other things as we go forward, but those are the main ones.
All right, for sure. I definitely will make sure that all the info is up, and that's a way that people can also learn more is by reaching out to those platforms, correct?
Exactly, definitely, yeah. Website's got a lot of information on there, including our history, including a lot of videos that we've done. So I encourage people to learn more about us through our website. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. So those are ways also that you can connect with us.
Okay. Well, I ain't going to keep you too much longer. I know you got some things to do. I just did have a quick question. So was creating something like this difficult, or was it pretty easy once you got the gist of it?
Well, I'll tell you. So coming out of prison, I had no experience ever with anything like this, starting anything like this from scratch, which is exactly what we did. It did not exist 5 months ago. And so to see how far we've come, you think, wow, it must have been pretty easy, but it definitely wasn't. One of the things that we struggled through was all of the forms, the documents, the legal requirements for getting something like this started on the state level and then the federal level. And there were a lot of times when we thought, you know what, we sure are spending a lot of time and a lot of money doing things that aren't directly helping guys, which is what we got in this to do. So there was a little bit of discouragement there for a few weeks while we were, wading through all the paperwork. That was the most difficult thing. That was the most challenging thing. And of course, now we're at the point where, okay, we've got that behind us and we're ready to start doing what we set out to do. So we're amped up about that. We're excited. But that was probably the biggest struggle, the biggest difficulty. Other than that, as every nonprofit will tell you, it's raising money. We've had a lot of individual supporters, but this is a hard climate to ask people to support, to donate. People are struggling.
Right.
So we've had those issues as well, but it's been encouraging. It's been great to see that we've overcome so much of that, and now we're poised to start doing what we set out to do.
Well, I think it's amazing. Congratulations for it being, set off. 5 months.
Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? That's not that's a major thing. And I know that those that are going to be going through are going to highly appreciate it. Those hearing about it is going to appreciate it. And like I said, when you was talking about it, I was just saying it just spread across America. Like I was thinking about how this could be put in my home city, of Wilmington, Delaware. So much success. So before
we might need you to start a branch up there of Our Journey one day.
Okay, hey man, I'm telling you, all I gotta do, I don't stay there no more, but all I gotta do is find somebody that is serious about it, and I feel like I know some people, so that's definitely something to talk about. It's a serious conversation.
Definitely.
Yeah. But before I let you go, do you have any last minute shout outs that you want to do, or something that you want the people to know?
Well, I can't resist the opportunity to give a shout out to my friends at Nash Correctional. I know that they may not be able to listen to this as easily as people out here, but those guys mean the world to me. Kwame Teague, of course, think the world of him. Philip Smith. Those two guys do more networking in a week than I do in 3 months. It's just amazing what they're able to accomplish behind. And for people who've never been incarcerated, you just don't know how difficult it is to network out here in prison. And so just big shout out to those two guys and to all the guys at Nash. And just thank you again, Jay Renee, for allowing us the opportunity to be on your podcast and to share our heart and our vision and our passion with your listeners.
It's for the people. I'm a journalist for the people, so you definitely got it, bro. You're welcome.
Thank you. That's awesome.